and Communications Coordinator with ForRent Media Solutions. Thank you for joining us today. We have special guest Christy Flex-Struble with us today to share her insight and her thoughts on trends that will touch our industry in the coming new year. As the Director of Marketing, Christy and her team are always the first to know emerging trends and topics that touch our industry, and they seamlessly inject them into the products and services we provide at ForRent.com. It was also Christy and her team that debuted the slow motion video booth, which everyone seemed to enjoy at this year's brainstorming conference. So if you did a slow motion video, make sure you pop over to our YouTube channel, and we'll share that toward the end of our session today. But it was Christy and her team that came up with that idea. So they always are injecting fun and new trends into all of our products and services. So thanks so much for joining us, Christy. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm pretty stoked about the topic. Every year, brainstorming is one of my favorite events in the industry, where we really can just kind of get in and hear the upcoming trends and how people will be using them and how they're currently using them. And so this, being a trend spotter is what I like to call it, is definitely a passion of mine. So thank you for having me. Looking forward to chatting about some multifamily trends.
Yeah, so we've got some good stuff coming up. But before we go over our agenda, we want you to join the conversation. So before we get started, we are using the hashtag FRMSchat. And if you saw on the previous slide, you can even chat with APTS for Rent, and also Christy Struble is her Twitter handle as well, if you want to pop in and include those in your tweets. But we're at hashtag FRMSchat on Twitter, so if you have any feedback, questions, maybe you have some insight, feel free to use the hashtag, and one of our FR Social team members will be monitoring that timeline and that conversation being held on Twitter. And we want to reward you for joining the conversation. So one of you who is engaging with us on Twitter using hashtag FRMSchat will receive a $20 gift card. How about that? We'll announce the winner at the end of the webinar, so we want you to sit back, relax, and engage with us. As you know, and as your budget shows, we are in full gear and prepping for the new year, which means out with the old and in with the new. And what better way to get those creative juices flowing than going over the trends that were covered during Multifamily Pro's Brainstorming Conference this year. I mean, Tammy Searwick always does a great job of challenging us to think outside the box in terms of the day-to-day routine of leasing and property management. And I know all of us who attended walked away with some extremely exciting marketing plans for the new year. And we won't leave you out of the loop just because you weren't able to attend. So we're going to serve all that up to you in a bite-sized FRMS chat session today. Let's go ahead and kick things off with an overview of the trends that are sure to make an impact in the new year, in 2014. Christy and I will add some application, and we will share ways you can implement these trends. And throughout our session, we will tweet out a few links, so be on the lookout for those. We've got some resources we're going to share with you. And then we're always going to wrap things up with some Q&A. So if those of you have a question that was not answered during the session, I'm watching your questions come through the GoTo panel right now as we speak. So if you're not on Twitter with us, don't worry. Feel free to use the questions box you have available to you as a GoTo webinar attendee. I can see those questions come in real time. I am happy to answer those questions. And we want to make this as conversational and interactive and engaging as possible. So on those two avenues, between Twitter and the GoTo questions box, best believe your question will be answered. And then as a follow-up, we will send you an email with today's links and resources. So let's just jump right in. Today, apartment shoppers make their purchase decisions in a short amount of time, which means it's important to have the technology to help them make and drive those decisions. driving revenue is a top priority in the multifamily space. Almost every conversation at the brainstorming sessions and at the conference touched on ways to keep revenue flowing while reaching 100% occupancy and retaining residents. One marketing trend that drives revenue is online leasing. Online leasing has gained popularity as of late because it allows both the prospect and the leasing agent to be more mobile, which frees up time and gives you the opportunity to multitask. All right, so just think about the amount of time it takes to go through paperwork and the paperwork process. Nobody has time for that, right? As a leasing manager, you could be doing a million other things with that time, and guess what? So can your prospect. So today's renter doesn't have time, or they don't really even have the desire to fill out lengthy paperwork. And thanks to electronic advancements, a prospect can watch a video of your property on YouTube, such as your FR video. Their credit can be approved after filling out an online application, and they can sign a lease all online, all via social media. So often, you may not even see your new resident until they move in and come to the leasing office just because they have to pick up their keys. Everything else can be done online. Imagine how much time you could free up if you switched over to online leasing. Another revenue-generating trend we are seeing is instead of charging a one-time pet deposit, property management companies are requiring residents to pay a monthly pet rent in addition to their own. And this is not only going to generate more revenue, but the monthly reminder will make pet owners extremely cognizant of their responsibility that they have in cleaning up after their pet. And IBIS World Report estimates that the average rate of pet ownership, and listen to this, you guys, the average rate of pet ownership will increase at a 2.2% rate annually. So what this means is that between now, 2013, 2014, and in 4 years, 2018, we will jump from 82.5 million pet owners to 92 million pet owners. That's almost 10 million more pet owners. And one of the first needs an apartment shopper will want met is a pet-friendly community. So some people even value that, think about it, over their safety. So I know, Christy, you had some things you wanted to share about this topic.
I do. I think this is a really interesting trend. I guess I challenge the audience to see, how many of you, let me see, and how many people are online here. How many of you are currently pet-friendly already?
Let's go ahead and release.
For that?
Sure thing.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Let's see. Are you a pet-friendly community?
Okay, so we have, wow, overwhelmingly, it's looking as though we're in the 90th percentile of 68% of you who are sitting on the webinar voted. And out of that 68%, it's looking like we're wavering from high 80% to low 90% of you as property managers, your property is pet friendly.
Yeah,
wow.
I suspected that. And and I wish we had one more question here, but I would be interested to see. I bet most of these folks are already charging pet rent. So I think it's an interesting trend. I guess I would challenge the audience that if you are this 12% that isn't already offering a pet-friendly community with numbers like 92 million people, if you're not already offering a pet-friendly community, I would recommend maybe testing it at a property, or even if you're calling in from and you're running a site now, just trying it in a building, or try it on one of your floors in your high-rise, and one of your buildings in your communities, and just see how that goes over, and try and get that extra revenue for the year for 2014. It really is a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, that's very insightful. Okie doke, so let's move on to another revenue generating trend. Or actually, let's just move on altogether and get into information gathering and sharing trends. And information gathering is important to both marketers and the consumer, so it's important to everybody. And for a marketer, it's all about getting to know who it is that you're marketing to, who you're marketing to. So what demographic, what age group, what gender, what lifestyle preferences a consumer makes and has. And for a consumer, research on a product or service is an integral part of the purchase and decision-making process. So again, to both the business, it's important to gather information. To the consumer, it's important to gather information. So let's go over some trends to help marketers gather information about the consumer, and then we'll transition and unveil trends that consumers use to conduct research. We've talked about big data and sentiment analysis and predictive analysis, and these were all topics that were covered at this year's brainstorming conference. And we talked about big data numerous times, and one thing I found very insightful was how Jennifer Nevitt of 42 talked about ciphering through the mass of data we as marketers are presented on a daily basis, cutting through that clutter to find relevant data that will help us better understand our consumers. Think about that. How useful is data if it's served up to you on a huge plate and all you need is a little nugget, right? So finding relevant information may feel like you're searching for a needle in a haystack, but that's why you have resources like ForRent to help you gather information about today's renter. That being said, ForRent Media Solutions went to your prospective renters to bring you an understanding of their needs, their desires, and their expectations of a multifamily community. So we really went out and we conducted research and we compiled those findings and packaged them into a white paper so that you can be equipped to market to your next resident. So we encourage you to visit and download this free white paper that we have compiled for you. It is chock full of information that you really can't afford to miss. And you can simply go to bit.ly/FRMS Next Gen. You see that on your screen there, bit.ly FRMS Next Gen, and make sure you download that white paper. And you know what? This is definitely going to help you get acquainted with the person that eventually could be your new resident. So we're converting prospects to residents, and this is going to help you do that. All right, so let's transition from us as marketers gathering information and using white papers to help us do that to consumers. And consumers don't find the information gathering process burdensome because, quite honestly, it contributes to them making a more sound and knowledge-based decision. And this process takes place online and by choice, in fact. 9 times out of 10, a prospect is conducting their research online while engaging in other media. And this is called second screening or multi-screen culture. We've talked about this before. And the multi-screen culture has completely changed the way we market and take in our media, meaning TV, radio, anything online, that's considered media. So much so that according to Forbes, 87% of electronic device sales will be tablets and smartphones. You heard it right. They will outsell desktop and laptop computers. They're already doing that right now. So not only does this speak to a more mobile and remote culture, it speaks to the way we need to craft our marketing. So think in terms of marketing to someone who is doing more than one thing at one time. So as marketers, it's important that we come to terms and really, face the music here that we will never have a captive audience. You will never have a captive audience. Often, our marketing message will be competing with whatever TV commercial is on or the numerous tabs someone has opened on their laptop or their tablet. That's why it's so important to make sure your content leaves an impression and an impact. I know, Christy, you had something to share about multi-screen culture.
Yeah, well, this is a big part of our world in the marketing department at ForRent Media Solutions, making sure that all of our campaigns speak to at every kind of screen. So, you know, in thinking of communities, and I'm sure a lot of you haven't heard, maybe you haven't heard my name before, maybe you have, but my experience comes from really the other side of the fence and being a director of marketing for a property management company. So I know that even as you know, I was leaving my job, not only, you know, did our communities really have to have access to mobile campaigns, such as like texting a resident and mobile ads, just, you know, making sure that your ForRent ad is also on the ForRent mobile site or the mobile app. But just as you mentioned, these campaigns and the words, the photos, just the messaging, everything really does have to be impactful, because you're competing with that TV commercial. So, you know, you've got a multitasking society, and if they're looking at your community here and you've got a drab photo, it's not gonna, you're competing against a commercial, or as Jay Baer would even say, against my mom's, you know, Twitter feed, what's happening with my family. So, but also you've got to be consistent across all these different screens. You've got to be able to have the same impactful photo and the same messaging, and have a consistent brand from the laptop to, you know, your mobile website to your, you know, your ad on a tablet. So I would just interject that.
I totally agree. And like Chrissy said, oftentimes we really think about, okay, let's establish a brand presence, and let's try to capture our audience on Twitter or on Facebook or on Instagram or on YouTube. But where's the consistency? Because say that you do get their attention for that short amount of time, are you recognizable? You have to be consistent with your branding across all facets of social media, especially in the online space, because one brand can almost look identical to the other, and you might lose somebody that way. So that's some great insight. All right, another way that people are gathering information and sharing information even is cloud-based info. And cloud-based info is beneficial to, again, both marketers and consumers. The cloud is an information storage database that can be accessed just about anywhere. That's why it's called the cloud, because it's always there. And this is great for exchanging ideas and documents with your team without requiring you to be in the same physical location. So it's not like you're having to wait next to a fax machine to see if your document's going to come through. Someone can just ping it to you, or even share you a link with that document, and you can connect to that folder in the cloud. And some of the most popular cloud databases, and this might help you kind of wrap your mind around the idea, are Dropbox or Google Drive. And we actually used Google Drive during the entire brainstorming conference. We created a Drive doc, and it just said, you know, brainstorming tips and trends and topics. Say that 3 times fast. And, you know, during the whole entire session, you could see who was collaborating with. You could see that Christy was writing, and you saw it live. You saw her jotting down her sessions because she sat in the executive sessions, whereas I was coming from a completely different place because I was sitting in the brainstorming sessions, and I was talking to property managers. So these are things I've heard for the first time because, you know, I'm on the vendor side. So it's a great way to be collaborative and share insight, and you're not having to mash all these, you know, different notes from different places together, because the cloud allows you to do that seamlessly. So again, think about ways that you can work smarter, not harder, with your team. And think about entertaining the thought of becoming a member of some type of cloud-based database like a Dropbox or Google Drive. I promise you, you will love it.
Yeah, Ansley, this is something that, you know, every day helps us. But I've seen a lot of communities that do, in fact, use platforms like Dropbox, where they keep, especially when it comes to keeping a branded advertising across all these platforms like we were just mentioning. But, you know, they have a Dropbox account, and they keep all of their approved photos, their approved logos, they're even down to the copy, the words that they're using in all your advertising. They keep all that pre-approved copy there so that anytime anyone in the leasing office, the corporate office, or home office needs to update an ad or needs something that I need a photo right now, well, here is, everyone's got a shared access, and here's your approved photo that you're allowed to use, so that, again, that consistency and impactful advertising across all channels. So that's how I've seen it used.
Totally agree. And really, the cloud can just be used for just about anything, from photo sharing to document sharing to the possibilities are endless. So if you're thinking of being a little bit more mobile with your information sharing, the cloud is a great way to do that. And the cloud is just, like I said, a general term to that's an online database. So another one is actually, I believe, what Apple has iCloud, right? And that's their database. That's kind of like their cloud-based database, I believe. I think it's called iCloud. Okay, so we're leading from information gathering to mobile trends. Let's get mobile, people. The mobile movement is an unavoidable trend that is going to breathe new life into not only your marketing efforts, but your print efforts as well. And you can bring print to life using digital watermarking. This is what you see here. Using apps like Layer or Digimark bring an offline action to online conversion. So where some might say print is dead, the mobile movement can show otherwise. And this is an example shared by Sashi Bellamkonda, VP of Marketing for Vizzuto, and he shared some great insight during the Trends Luncheon that we sat in on. And this is actually from his presentation where he showed that one of Vizzuto's properties, Union Wharf, is using digital watermarking to help convey their marketing message. And Chrissy, I think you had some other insight as far as, mobile goes.
I do. I have to apologize for my pause. I'm fascinated at what's happening on Twitter right now. It's like, oh, this is so great. So I'm just finding myself wanting to tweet more than I normally do. So I got a little distracted. You guys are following.
Twitter can do that to you.
Yeah, it's right. It's super distracting. Yes, I love this. We use this in a lot of our marketing campaigns, whether it's Digimark, which is what you're seeing here. Another one of my favorites is Layer, L-A-Y-A-R. We use a lot of that. It really brings that print to life. So for those of you who have heard that print is dead, print just absolutely has, well, if anything, it's come back to life in my opinion. And you can really make it impactful for a digital savvy generation by using these, and a lot of them are free. I know that anybody that wants to create a QR code can do that. My daughter, 8-year-old, can do that from her iPhone. So I'm really excited to see this trend.
Yes, that's a great trend. And another great trend with mobile is mobile transactions, or our mobile transactions. And mobile transactions touch on, again, like the revenue generating trend we just mentioned earlier, as well as the mobile trend that we're talking about right now. And mobile innovations like Square, this is what you see here. This is the Square device, or the rent payment app, which is what you see here. These are going to promote the on-the-go lifestyle that residents have, and with easy options to make transitions smart via, make transactions via a smartphone or transactions via a tablet. Like you see here, there's a device that people can scan their credit card with a tablet or with an iPad. And this may not be scalable. All the examples we're sharing with you guys, we're not asking you to implement these right here and now. This might be something that you may not even get into until 5 years from now. And that's completely okay. We want this to be something to give you ideas to scale according to what you can do with your marketing budget. So this might not be scalable for every property, but you should definitely check with your current management software vendor or your company and ask what products they have available to align with the trends that you're seeing, because the last thing you want to do is be utilizing a product or service that's draining your marketing spend but's not giving you really good ROI. So we talked last month about conducting an audit as far as the products and services that you use, and this might be a time for you to do that. Another trend that we're going to share is enhancing the resident experience. And we always harp on moving away from the mentality of selling units. I hate that word units, and we don't even use it at ForRent.com except to tell you not to use it. And so moving away from that mentality of selling units and moving toward the idea of promoting a lifestyle. So let's go over some ways that you can do just that. What better way to show you care than by hosting a town hall meeting? What you see here is an example of Enzo Apartments, and they put out a flyer in the social space and on site to ask for their residents' input. And town hall meetings are always an effective way to not only provide an open forum for information gathering, so again, information gathering, we're touching on previous trends, but also these events are going to show your residents that you are actively listening to what they have to say and that their opinions really do matter. So you're enhancing that user experience, that resident experience for them. So you can check out, the text toward the bottom of this that you see here. First 5 people will receive gift cards. Refreshments will be served. Now listen, this is going to set the tone here. When I hear that if I come and share my input, I can be rewarded for it, and you're going to feed me, okay, well, I'm coming. I think this sets the mood and sends positive vibes. We're all for positive juju, right? Positive vibes, which will take the edge off and make this event more constructive and definitely provide more constructive dialogue versus staging an inquisition. That's the last thing you want to feel is cornered by your residents. And so it's all about you setting the stage and setting the tone here.
Yeah, Ainsley, the first time I saw this at brainstorming, I kind of cringed out of a natural reaction of, oh my gosh, I've heard so many executives say, why would we get all of our residents in a room to attack us? This is such a bad experience, and puts the property managers, the on-site staff, even the home office folks in a sweaty little spot. But this really is a great trend, and I think those gift cards, like you said, setting that tone is important. But one of the reasons I think this is great is it gives your residents a platform for their voice. And if they can do it in the privacy of a clubhouse or a local area, whatever, it's better than them doing it online on Yelp and apartment ratings and apartment reviews where you can address it and keep it offline. This really becomes a matter of, it's about managing your reputation. So this, while you may cringe at first, I really think this is an excellent way to go for marketing.
And I truly agree. I mean, what better way to manage your reputation than to control it as much as you possibly can? We always talk about how at the end of the day, your reputation is in the hands of the public because it's all about public perception. So like Christy said, if we can keep as many things offline and promote the 3-star or higher reviews and ratings and promote those online, of course. We want people to see them everywhere they go. But especially for times when you need to tweak what you're doing in your strategy, it would be so great to have that happen in-house, offline, behind closed doors, so that the end product that a prospect sees is, when can I sign up? I want to live here today. So I think that's great feedback. Oh, we had a question come in about this slide, so I'm going to pop back over. We had a question come from Alicia who asks a great question. She says, the flyer says, conducted by a third party. Who would you suggest? And I know that for rent, we use SurveyMonkey quite often. And is that correct, Christy? We use some different platforms, like, especially for like information gathering and surveys. We usually tend to go to like a SurveyMonkey or assets that are completely free to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely like to keep it simple and fast and speedy. And you're right, SurveyMonkey is a very user-friendly platform. It's easy to follow, but there are some great vendors and service providers out there in our industry that really can help you generate a good survey. So, be sure to explore those as well.
Yeah, and just going back to the whole SurveyMonkey thing, if you're just wanting to test it out, SurveyMonkey actually has a great way that you can upload a survey as an app on your Facebook page. We went over that last month, I believe, or maybe the month before, but they have a great way that you can actually create a survey, so like 5 to 10 questions, and like how's the parking here, or how's the trash service, or are your maintenance requests being fulfilled in a timely manner. So questions that you may not want the answer being displayed all over the place, but you do want, maybe you have high engagement on your Facebook page. Create a SurveyMonkey survey and upload it as an app to your Facebook page. That way, whenever residents or people come to your Facebook page, they can actually click that app, so it's going to live in the same place where your photo app and your map and your available apartments app is living, and they can just click that and fill it out anonymously. So that's going to help you get insight and keep it, in-house as well.
Ansley, that's fantastic. As you're saying this, I just got a private message on Twitter of someone asking me, where can I find that? Your previous recording on how to install that in Facebook.
Yeah, so if you go to our training portal, so if you go to, I believe it's frsocial.forrent.com, or you can go, if you're a customer of ours, you can log in through managers and owners. If you log in through managers and owners and click that blue, you click FR Social first. It's a blue FR Social button, and then you will go to the blue box that says Social Education. All of our monthly trainings will be living there. And I don't believe I showed you the steps on how to upload a SurveyMonkey app to your Facebook page, but that gives us something that we can share on our blog in the next couple weeks, so we're happy to do that. Thank you for that idea. But that recording and all of our recordings will be living there. So I'm happy to help you navigate there after the webinar. But great, thank you for that tidbit. We can actually, and this is a question that's come up before, so we're actually happy to create content and step-by-step directions on how to upload a SurveyMonkey to your Facebook page. Thank you for that. All right, so moving right along, another great example from Enzo. They just keep them coming. What better way to promote a healthy lifestyle than with a fitness calendar offered only to your residents? So it's exclusive to them. Listen, if only every community could have a state-of-the-art fitness center with instructors, right? That would be every property management company's dream. But the truth of the matter is that most properties do not have a state-of-the-art fitness center with instructors. It's not kind of a plug-and-play type thing. That's going to pull from your marketing budget, and either you have it or you don't, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So a consolation to that is you can still find ways to create custom user and resident experience with the amenities that you do have. Remember, it was your amenities at your property that attracted your resident in the very first place. So make sure that after they sign that 12-month lease, make sure you're still promoting those perks to remind them this is why you call us home. And this is just a great calendar to show, even if you don't have, instructors or a fitness center, they're showing, a Super Bowl party or Happy Valentine's Day. They're still promoting events that are not related to the fitness center. So you could create your own branded calendar and pop in any type of resident appreciation or resident-centric events in your calendar and promote that socially as well as, in print. Okay, so you guys are going to love this. When they shared these tech-friendly outdoor umbrella poles that you see here, I knew I had to pass the knowledge on to you guys. And these aren't just any ordinary umbrella poles, folks. These are poles that offer a perk. And the pole on the left right here allows you to plug in your electronic devices. The upper right allows you to plop in your iPhone or your iPod, and it's going to amplify the noise. How about that? And the bottom right is in addition to that, you can pop onto just a plain umbrella stand, and it's going to allow you to have more light in the space, especially if, you're hosting a resident event like a 4th of July barbecue and it runs into the evening, you're going to keep the area well lit. So I don't know about you, but if I'm a resident at a community that offers these perks, I'm going to be camped out by the pool from open until close. I'm going to be completely red as a lobster just because these are some great ideas to keep people using your amenities that they signed up for. So not only is this injecting convenience to your residents, it's accommodating the mobile lifestyle. So more people are working from, unconventional places these days. People work from Starbucks. People work from all over the place. So what if a resident can work remotely from your pool? A hot button that they need and want met is a community that accommodates that lifestyle. Well, now you have just converted that prospect because they can work poolside, and that won't be available anywhere else. So just think about these things. They're just little things, but it's all, the devil's in the details, right? It's all about the little things that make the difference.
These are great. I felt like I just tried to interrupt you, but it was just to say I love these so much. Where can somebody get this kind of cool stuff? Because I want one right now.
Yeah, so you can find it several different ways. I mean, Chrissy, it just became winter. Hold your horses here.
I want summer, and I want my Wi-Fi hotspot, and I want bring it back.
I know. We can't wait for summer. But this, I believe, is at Brookstone. So if you just Google Brookstone or, Charger Umbrella, kind of whatever those search terms, Brookstone will show. Also, I believe some of these things were on SkyMall. You know what, people? SkyMall has almost everything you can think of. Mm-hmm. So between the two, SkyMall and Brookstone, you will find these products, which would be great for you to invest in. And I know that you might be thinking in terms of, okay, if someone sees this, they're going to swipe it. Well, maybe you could enact some type of, like sign-in, sign-out system where someone checks out, one of these items here, and you have to collect some piece of collateral, or you put some type of insurance plan into place so that you can make sure you're getting your items back. That's just kind of a second thought that I had. So in addition to creating a resident experience and injecting convenience, we talked about pets earlier today, right, as a way, charging pet rent as a way to generate revenue. Well, we talked about the growing number of pet owners as well, moving from 82.5 million to 92 million by the time we get to 2018. And many of those pet owners may be satisfied that they found a pet-friendly community, and that just might be fine with them. But the question here really is your community pet-friendly, or are you just pet accommodating? And a resident can tell the difference between if you're just tolerating their pet or if you consider their pet a resident just like them. So one way to make pet owners and their pets feel welcome, and we've mentioned this before, is hosting a yappy hour for your residents where pet owners and non-pet owners alike can mingle. So again, we don't want to be discriminatory. We talked with Nadine Green last month about singling out different groups. So open it to the general public of your community, but you can cater to pet owners and have pet treats out for your pet residents. So think about it. Your residents can have a cocktail while the pets are just wagging their tails. It's just as simple as that. It's important to remember allowing pets means happy residents, and happy residents make for a happy apartment and community culture. And one thing I wanted to share with you, because we see that there's a growing number of pet owners who are going to be apartment dwellers, if you've been looking for tchotchkes to show your appreciation for your four-legged residents, look no further. We have some pretty neat scoops that you can pass out to your residents. And we want to know what you do at your community to make your community pet-friendly. So we want to know. We want you to share your ideas by leaving a comment and go to bit.ly/areyouPetFriendly. So this is going to take you straight to our Your Solutions blog, and we have some great insight and a great article that talks about being more pet-friendly at your community. And we appreciate your engagement with us. So whoever leaves a comment, and one lucky winner out of the people that have left a comment will receive pet scoops for their residents. So this is, again, these tchotchkes are expensive, right? But they're not going to come out of your marketing spend. This is how we show our appreciation for you engaging with our brand at ForRent.com. You can pass that appreciation on to your residents by handing out pet scoops if you've won. Again, we want you to go to our blog, bit.ly/are-you-pet-friendly. And listen, folks, you have just under 24 hours to do this because we are closing down shop and we're selecting the winner tomorrow. So this contest ends tomorrow, Friday, November 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So we want you to, right after you get out of this webinar, we want you to run over to our blog and go to /are-you-pet-friendly, or you can go to Your Solutions, and that way you'll be able to engage with us and have the chance to win these great tchotchkes for your residents. Okay, so I believe this is the last section as far as user or the resident experience is concerned and promoting that. I am still waiting, folks, for one of you to host a Food Truck Friday at your community. I think I actually try to plug this in almost every single one of my webinars because I think it's just such a genius idea. The food truck trend has hit almost every city by now, and it's creating a huge social buzz. I don't know what it is about food and cats, but they are two of the most highly shared photo assets in the social space. So if it's not Grumpy Cat, it's food. People love to share pictures of what they're eating. So again, that is a great opportunity for brand placement for you. We've talked about cross-promotions, also known as outreach marketing. And outreach marketing is all about making connections with businesses to offer perks to your residents, which in turn give you and the business, that food truck, that brand exposure that is so needed today. So going out of your community and reaching out to a food truck is something that will set you apart from your competitors. And word of mouth, which are two terms we've mentioned, will work in your favor. In the heavy lifting will be done by the food truck. So just think about it. It's so symbiotic and it's so beneficial to both parties. You're going to get brand exposure via word of mouth, and word of mouth, while the food truck is the one cooking up in the kitchen, you can mingle with your residents for all we care, So in the most cases, food trucks are set up to be startups. They're usually, personally owned businesses, so they're startups, and their only mode of advertisement is via word of mouth and word of mouth. So they'd be happy to partner with you because you'd be bringing that customer base straight to them. So I think Food Truck Fridays is a great idea.
Yeah, I love, Ansley, this is probably one of my favorites, just finishing a tweet here. This is the kind of stuff that if you can work this out and do some that exchange advertising with your local food trucks, or that yappy hour, we're seeing tweets on people loving the yappy hour. This is the kind of stuff that in advertising you need to shout from the rooftops. You need to post this on all your social channels. This is kind of like the bragging rights. If you can accomplish these new trends and your residents are really loving them, brag about it. Put it in your ads as an amenity for your residents that, this is what we're doing. That's why you should live here. Shout it from your social channels, your text platforms, and again, absolutely putting it in your advertising as a kind of a feature and a benefit. It's a really cool deal.
So true. And again, your residents are going to be like, wow. I mean, where else could we have this? Like, they're bringing dinner to us. Think about hosting a Food Truck Friday after a crazy busy work week where the last thing people want to think about is cooking dinner, right? Well, you're bringing dinner to them, giving them more time to create community culture. They can mingle with one another. They can bring the pups out. I mean, it's just a great feeling. So I really hope some of you implement this. I know I'm reading the Twitter timeline. It looks like as though some of you are. I cannot harp on it enough. It's great. Okay, so we're going to move on to eco-friendly trends, and 53% of residents say that they are willing to pay more for environmentally friendly features. Imagine that. So that being said, it's time to start thinking about ways to appeal to this type of renter. Something you can start off by doing is simply adding an additional receptacle and with only recyclables going into it. That's a great way to accommodate those who choose to recycle at your community. So you're not force-feeding it to people. You see that Mercy Housing, a property, right, one of their properties, White Rock Village, is going green. Thank you for recycling for a greener planet. Again, scale it according to how you can implement this, but I think these are some great examples of going eco-friendly without completely, moving in a completely different direction. So this is a screenshot of an app called My Recycle List, and this list was deemed as the first fully comprehensive, all items, all zip codes recycling app, and the app was developed from 1-800-RECYCLING, and it features a list of almost everything that can be recycled. So from electronics to glass to mattresses to your junk, it's going to help you find out, and it's going to point you to nearby locations that accept those recyclables. So this is great. If you can't do it, you can promote this app.
Yeah, Ansley, this is also, tying in another trend is the town halls. Talk about a topic to share during a town hall is have everybody get out their phones and download the app and get them familiar with how to recycle, especially if you can't offer it inside your community. You can at least tell them where to go. I've seen communities offer kind of a Go Green program where whatever a resident downloads the app and participates, they get kind of a window cling to install on their home window. So what a cool thing as you're touring apartments to highlight to your prospect, hey, look, our residents are going green here. We've got an initiative happening, and it really is just as simple as showing them the app at a town hall. So I love this app, love the idea.
I totally agree. Like we said, if you don't have it within your budget to, buy an additional receptacle, like Christy said, just plug it at a town hall meeting or plug it somewhere. At least you're giving them that knowledge that they wouldn't have otherwise. And you want to create yourself and establish yourself as an informational hub. Well, this is one way you can do that. This is a list of things that a resident can recycle from their apartment. So you could replicate this graphic and post it, at a communal location, like close to your mailboxes or somewhere on your property that informs residents of where they can and what they can recycle from their apartment. So be on the lookout. We're actually going to write up a blog post about, tips to help your residents recycle, and this graphic will be in that blog post. So just look out for that in the next coming weeks.
Yes, I'm going to have them include that little cute retro image right there, so they can just download it, share it with their residents, and even create magnets too. You could even do that. So
for sure, I totally agree. Okie doke. So moving on from recycling, another green or eco-friendly trend is accommodating electric vehicle drivers. So what conveys being green better than accommodating your electric or hybrid car owners? As gas prices rise, more apartment dwellers and homeowners are ditching their gas guzzlers and switching to electric cars. There are multiple mentions, and were multiple mentions, of Elon Musk at Brainstorming, who created the Tesla, the zero-emission vehicle. And many properties in more metro areas of the country are providing currently charging stations inside the parking area for residents. Now, I'm not sure how much a charging station costs, but with the popularity of people switching over from gas guzzlers to electric cars, I could guess that this unit would probably pay for itself in no time. So here are some examples of these gas charging or these electric car charging units being installed at at a parking deck, at an apartment community. IKEA has it. So these are ways that you can really inject that eco-friendly vibe at your community. And again, I don't even know where to begin as far as price is concerned, but I almost can guarantee that it will pay for itself over time in a short amount of time. Okay, let's talk about dog duty for a minute. I know it's not fun, it's not pretty, but depending on size, the truth of the matter is a dog will create between 300 to 100 pounds of waste a year. And I'm sure your pet-friendly communities and properties, you don't, ain't nobody got time for that. You do not want to have that go unattended. And make it convenient for your pet owners to clean up after their pets. The last thing you want is your residents complaining about pet waste. And that's one of the top complaints that a lot of properties get. So you need to make it easy for your owners to clean up after their pets. The easiest way to manage pet waste disposal is to install cost-effective pet waste stations. And it's been proven that providing dog owners with doggy poop bags can improve compliance by at least 150%. Think about that, 150%, just by setting up a pet bag station. So for your apartment communities, you can start by installing one pet waste station with biodegradable dog poop bags, every 160 yards within your area. Placing dog waste removal stations throughout your property makes it easy for residents to clean up after their pets. And also putting stations near mailboxes or your pool and parking spaces, those are all highly trafficked areas that pet owners will go to as well. And just so that you see here, this is a calculator that will help you come up with, if you're trying to gauge the amount of pet stations or pet dog bag stations that you need. This is a great calculator to help you figure that out. So when you guys get the recording of this, you can refer back to this and help you better gauge if this is something that's scalable according to your marketing budget. Okie doke. Another eco-friendly trend we're seeing is filtered water refill stations. Part of being eco-friendly is being concerned with what we put into our bodies. And many places and communities have installed filter water stations that allow users to take a sip of clean water as well as fill up their water bottle when they're on the go. So these are just some ideas. Again, scale it according to your marketing budget, but these are eco-friendly trends that you will start to see emerging at properties in 2014 and beyond. Okay, so we have a couple more sections to go, and this section is visual social media. We cannot harp enough on the importance of being visual with your social strategy. This trend is here to stay, and consumers expect to see images on their home feeds and on their timelines in the social space. So Jennifer Evans, Cario of Sugar Spun Marketing, brought up a great point at the Trends Luncheon at Brainstorming this past week, that you can't just share any old type of image. It's all about quality. So it's important that you invest in quality images, and you will receive a higher ROI because of that investment. Chrissy, I know that you took over our Your Solutions blog, which has completely come a long way and evolved since you've been with us, which is great. Since I'm a contributor, I can see, firsthand the difference that your image strategy has had on the amount of people that subscribe to our blog, the retention that we hold, the amount of people that read our content, all because of the images and our image strategy that we've implemented.
Yeah, we really have set some standards of absolutely not a single post goes through without a high quality photo or a video. You have to have something visual, absolutely. And we also set in some branding, just some general branding standards of, use a professional photo. If your residents aren't generating photos for you, with user-generated content, then get a subscription. There's some really inexpensive subscription warehouses out there like a Veer or a ThinkStock or Big Stock. And at least you've got 4 images a month or 10 images, whatever your marketing budget will allow. But we do utilize those professional images through a subscription house as well. And we also have some font standards. We make sure that our voice is all similar, but we've seen huge growth just by implementing those new branding standards. I think we're up well over 100% year over year in unique visitors, not to mention just like quadrupling our subscriptions of folks that are tuning into all the trends and news that are coming out of the blog. So this trend is also here to stay. I think that people, you and me and just general consumers, want quality. We don't want a bunch of junk.
So true. And one of the initiatives that we implemented at Brainstorming was keeping you guys in the loop as far as our content is concerned. So if you came over to our booth at Brainstorming, you saw that we asked you to opt in to the blog that we're mentioning. And it's because we have so much great and juicy marketing content that we are so excited to share with you in the new year. We know that you can't afford to miss out on it. So that was one of our main goals. Some booths gave away some tchotchkes, and we did the same thing, but at the end of the day, tchotchkes can only do so much for you. We really want to give you content that you can repurpose and use for your marketing initiatives. And so that was one of the reasons we asked you to opt into our Your Solutions blog during Brainstorming. So hopefully you will keep in touch with us and you'll see some of the content that we share in the new year, and you can repurpose it and really saturate that content and use it for your marketing strategy.
Yeah, I think that if I could just add one last thing there, even with our account executives, it is a company philosophy to be helpful. So when you visit the blog, it is our hope that every single stitch of content in there is going to help you either be more successful or help you with the challenge that you're having on site. So I hope that we hear from you guys. Please, feel free to tweet me online or send me an email and let me know what you think about the content as it relates to being helpful.
Great. So let's move along to visual social channels. And the most popular social networks to allow you to be visual are going to be none other than Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. And also another one that I want to mention is Vine. A lot of people in the multifamily space are latent to go to Vine because, Instagram allows you to do both video and photo sharing, and only Vine allows you to do, video sharing. But the great thing about Vine is that you only have 6 seconds to tell a story, whereas with Instagram, you have 15. Now, with Instagram, you don't have to use all the 15 seconds you're allotted, but just the 2 different platforms allow you to do two different things. And as of right now, Pinterest has great integration into Facebook as far as, uploading your Pinterest account as an app to Facebook, just like the SurveyMonkey app. And also, Facebook owns Instagram, so all of your content from your Instagram feed can seamlessly now go to your Facebook timeline. So not only are you being visual, but you're killing 2 birds with several stones.
Ansley, I thought it was interesting at Brainstorming, too, to hear that not only are these current trends and will still be trending, but there was a new platform that they were seeing in young renters was the Snapchat. I did some discussion with that as well.
Yes, I have heard Snapchat has come a long way since its infancy, and it's still not it's still pretty new. I mean, it's gained an extreme amount of popularity with the younger demographic. I am 10 years apart from my 2 younger sisters, and all they talk about is Snapchat. And so they're going to be the next generation of renter. That is what this white paper that we mentioned earlier, that's who this is for. That's for the upcoming demographic that will be completely speaking an entirely different language than we're speaking today. They're going to be so socially savvy. They're going to expect, a brand to reciprocate conversation with them, and they're going to expect us as marketers to know what social platforms and apps they're using, and Snapchat is definitely one of those. So thanks for sharing that, Christy. All right, so our last trend that we're going to talk about is geofencing. And where once geofencing, so just think about it, geographical fencing was used for pets in the form of a microchip. So that kind of helps you wrap your mind around what geofencing once was. Now geofencing has evolved to help marketers strategically connect to consumers. According to Mashable, web and mobile apps are now more than ever incorporating location as an experience-enhancing feature for differentiation in increasingly crowded markets. So that's what geofencing is. And geofencing helps marketers find and track a consumer's digital footprint. So this encompasses social check-in, so when you're checking in via Foursquare, when you are tagging yourself and a friend at a location. It's going to help with sending ads to prospects when they enter your geofence. So even if you're not going to implement this trend, it's still important to think about where you're making the most impact and the largest impression.
Yeah, I think that you think about this as an emerging trend, but not a lot of properties have a way to tap into this trend. And I got to thinking about how they can at least just start moving in that direction. And I think that the very least that you can do is adding yourself to things like Foursquare and making sure you're present as a basic on Facebook so folks can check into your property. It's a great form of free advertising. So be sure that you're on at least Foursquare and Facebook. Add your community. And if you really want to start getting savvy, add your amenities. Watch people checking into your pool, into your fitness center, into the laundry center, any amenity that you might have.
I think that's great insight. Again, people, you can scale this according to how and kind of where you see yourself. Don't force feed it, and don't think that, oh man, we're not up to par with geofencing. That's completely okay. This was the first time I heard about it at brainstorming, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's about reaching that demographic. The next generation, your younger sister will know exactly what geofencing is, but
True.
Right? I often hear that, from especially property managers that have been in the industry a long time. Oh, my demographic is not on Foursquare. They don't use Foursquare. They don't use Facebook. Well, this demographic chart that Ansley's showing you is it shows a very appealing demographic that is in fact doing the check-in. So it may not be your current demographic, but this, folks, is not a bad demographic to tap into. So I highly recommend that trend.
Great. Okay, well, we are at the tail end of our session, and considering how much information we've covered today, it's essential that we share some valuable links and resources with you. So for those of you who are jotting down notes, we have these links available to you. I'm actually going to chat these out to you right now if you're using GoTo. So I've just sent those to you if you're using the GoTo panel, and you will see those come through. For those of you who are on Twitter, hold tight. We'll be sharing these valuable links with you as a follow-up in an email. So if you don't have time to jot all these down, all of you who are sitting on this session today will get a follow-up email with these links. So rest assured that you will be getting this information along with the recording and the slides that we've been going over today. Just to kind of go over these valuable links really quickly, this is that next generation of renters white paper we mentioned earlier today. This is going to be, a great article that talks about generating ideas for the new year. I'm sorry. This is going to be an article to our blog that talks about becoming more pet-friendly versus pet-tolerant and pet-accommodating. And then, last but not least, we really want you to visit this link because it's going to link you to your slow motion video that you created during brainstorming. So if you got out of touch and forgot how to get to that link, it's on our YouTube channel. So you can pop in this URL and you will be brought to an entire list of all the people that participated in the slow motion videos. And listen, you guys, even if you didn't, they are hilarious to watch. So I encourage you to still go to that link so you can see what you were missing out on. And hopefully, I know that this was a hit, so we're going to have to do this again at some event. So this won't be the last time you saw a slow motion video from us.
That's for sure. And I just want to point out that that is actually the pet-friendly article where folks can go and comment about how they make their community pet friendly and really be entered in to win those free pets groups. So I hope you guys enjoy that free gift.
Yes, make sure you go to, really all these links are going to be great, but this is going to give you a reward for leaving a comment and engaging with us. Okie doke, so I feel like we answered a lot of questions during today's session, but now's your time to ask any questions that you may have if we didn't get to them. We are running a little over on time, so if you don't have any questions, we are, you're free to go. We appreciate your time, but we will hang out a little bit longer and we can actually jump on the Twitter feed or the Twitter chat after we get out of this webinar and answer any unanswered questions. We want to send you off with 10 ways to show our thanks. While we're getting questions, we can't count the ways we'd like to thank you for your business. And ForRent employees love being able to help make your day-to-day easier through interactive education, tools, and ideas for your resident engagement, and obviously a suite of products designed to help you drive leads. So to show our appreciation for you as our customer, we want you to enjoy the following resources that were deemed most popular by customers like you this year. So another link that we have to share with you is bit.ly/FRMS November 13. And what that's going to share with you is 10 ways that we show our thanks for you being our customer. These are going to be great send-offs for 2014, and they're going to be great for helping you come up with your marketing strategy in the new year. Okay, so it's time to announce our winner. I know that's what all of you were hanging out for. And today's winner is Riverbend WB. So you have been acting and interacting with us on Twitter. We appreciate your engagement. That would be Riverbend Senior is your Twitter name, and Riverbend WB is your Twitter handle. So if you could DM us your information so we can pop your gift card in the mail to you, we are happy to send that off to you, and congratulations. Thanks for joining. So with that being said, Christy, thank you so much for joining us today. I think we had some great insight from you that we wouldn't have had otherwise had you not joined us. So we appreciate you taking the time out. And as always, we want you to stay connected with us. We want you to share and follow and discover new things that ForRent Media Solutions and ForRent.com has to offer. So with that being said, everyone, I appreciate your time. Have a great day, and you will be getting all this information as a follow-up. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.